So, what is a diploma in silver metal clay? It is a one-year program to train in silver metal clay jewellery, and you can be a complete beginner, and we take you through to a professional level within 1 year. So, we have lots of people on the current course who have done some silver metal clay before, and lots of people who have done none. So, we start at the beginning. But we really do ramp up. So by the end of the course, it's really quite advanced projects. So it's lovely to have this whole year to spend together working on these projects. The time commitment is roughly 1 day a week, or a minimum of 1 day a week. You can do more if you'd like to. And that's, we kind of say that's around 7 hours. So it can either be done all in one go, or you could do a couple of mornings or a morning, afternoon there, or an hour or so each day. So it's really flexible to fit around your timetable because it is all online. So a big welcome to anybody who's new. My name's Jessica Rose. I'm the founder of Jewellers Academy. We have trained thousands of people online in jewelry making. This is our fourth diploma program. So we have three diplomas in more traditional kind of silver and stone setting work. And we love metal clay so much that we were like, we need to do a diploma in metal clay. And luckily, lots of people in the metal clay community agreed and got on board. And we have some incredible teachers who I'm going to talk to you about throughout the course as well. And I think it's just so wonderful that we're able to have such an intensive and full-on training for a slightly more niche material. So yes, we're going to get into that now. So yeah, quick question. Do let me know in the chat if you've ever made any silver metal clay before. I know a few of you have said. So Jean has also done a 1 day course in Chester. Fiona, I've enjoyed 2 separate workshops on silver metal clay. Amazing. Vicky, hello from Derbyshire. I use silver clay, but also only had a 1 day course. My business is silver snail jewelry. Lovely. Nice to see you guys. Cecile has never done it before, and neither has Kerry. Oh, very exciting. So just to explain a little bit about what it is. So silver metal clay is a clay-based substance which has millions of tiny silver particles inside, and it has like a binder, which is the clay, which has some water in, and then lots of solid silver. So you can mold it, shape it like clay, like we're going to see in some of the projects. Then you can you dry it, and then you can either torch fire it or fire it in a kiln, and the clay binder burns off and you are left with just solid silver jewelry at the end. So it's a really wonderful way to make solid silver jewelry. And most metal clay, the silver metal clay we're going to be using in the course, makes fine jewelry. So fine jewelry is hallmarked 999. So for most silver jewelry on the planet, it is hallmarked 925, which is sterling silver jewelry. And that means to every 1,000 parts of silver, to every 1,000 parts, there are 925 parts of silver, and the other 75 are other alloys like copper or zinc. Whereas silver metal clay, fine silver that you're making, is hallmarked 999, which means to every 1,000 parts, 999, which is the most you can really get, is pure silver. So it is a really wonderful material, and it lends itself to certain designs and certain ways of working. AJ's done a little, and Diane's only been working with polymer clay. Oh, love polymer clay as well, and lots of the techniques kind of crossover as well. You can kind of practice in polymer clay for silver metal clay too. So the thing I love most probably about silver metal clay is it's so creative. So some of the restrictions that you might have had in more traditional sort of silversmithing that take many, many years to get to a level where you can do certain things are just totally thrown out the window with silver metal clay. You can mold it, you can shape it. It's almost crosses over with like pottery and other kind of crafts. So if you're kind of like a crafty person, or you just enjoy making things, and especially if you find it difficult to work with like the torches and the hammers and the saws and things, this is such a gentle way to create silver jewelry. So it kind of opens it up to a lot of people who may find the traditional methods more challenging. So like I mentioned, the diploma is a 1-year course. It starts in September, but we have enrollment open now, and we encourage you guys to sign up as soon as possible if you are thinking of joining, because there's all sorts of things to sort out before September, including like toolkits, material kits, kilns, and for us, we want to sort out your mentors and all of that. So that's why we're sharing about it earlier on. Like I mentioned, the time commitment is a minimum of 1 day a week, but it's very flexible. Lots of people who do the course have full-time jobs or have children or both, or other commitments. They're caring for someone. So you can definitely fit it around things. But likewise, if you do have a bit more time, of course, practice makes perfect, and you can, spend as much time as you like on the projects. So the diploma is suitable for beginners or those with some experience in metal clay. So if you have been making metal clay for a little while, there's still a lot you can get out of the diploma. And as I go through the project, you'll probably start to understand the kind of things that you could learn. And I often find with lots of classes in jewelry making, even if I've made that thing before, the way that I learn from a different tutor, there's always new tips, there's always new techniques, because everyone does things slightly differently. So I learn something every time. You don't need any previous qualifications or experience, and you can be based anywhere in the world, and it's open to anyone. So how does it work? So we have weekly lessons. So when we start in September, there's 3 terms, and they roughly follow the school terms here in the UK. So it's kind of September to end of sort of November time. Then we have a break over Christmas, come back in January through to Easter, have a break over Easter, and then the final kind of summer term ends around early July. So throughout those terms, you're roughly taught for about 10 weeks each term. So you have these weekly lessons, which I'm going to talk you through in a little bit. So these are professionally filmed with a film crew, and we get lots of really juicy close-ups of the different angles so that you can see in great detail what's happening, which is a huge advantage of online learning, is you're able to really see what the tutor's doing, how they're doing it from different angles, which you wouldn't necessarily get in real life, which is a real advantage. They come with course notes, which you can download every week if you like to look at kind of physical written word as well. So they are the core part of the course, and you have lifetime access to those. So we do encourage you to try and keep up each week, but if you go away or you're unwell, or life happens, then you can always catch up and kind of come back to it. And I'll talk more about the marking in a bit, but essentially you do all the work for a term, and then you're going to be sending your work to us at the end of the term, and it will go to your mentor, who will mark it and give you some feedback, which is a really useful part of the program, because you get that feedback from a professional metal clay artist, jeweler, who can help to just show you what's next, how you could improve, and also kind of make sure that you know all the things that you're doing that are great. And I think that that can really help as well. So you have the weekly lessons with the projects, and then the community aspect of it is also a really important part of the diploma, because so many people sign up to online courses and don't complete them. And we're very passionate about making sure that everyone who signs up for this is able to complete it, to the best of their ability, and assuming that nothing drastic's happening in their life. So you have fortnightly group Zooms. So these are in small groups. There's usually a fairly small group that joins the silver metal clay diploma, because it is a little bit more niche. So there'll be, small groups. So you'll get together with the same people every fortnight, and they will get to know you, and you will get to know them, and you'll be able to share what's working, any challenges you're facing, tips, advice. And these are also joined by a mentor, facilitated by a mentor. So you'll have one of the mentors in with you. You'll be able to ask questions, get support, but also just kind of check in with each other. And these have been so useful to the people on the program, not only to help them through the program, but motivation, encouragement, that kind of accountability. It's like, oh, why wasn't this person at the group Zoom? How are they doing? Let's check in on them. You can come to as few or as many as you like, but we definitely see that the people that are able to kind of come to those community aspects really get more out of the program, because there's always more things to be learned from each other and from your peers, as well as the mentors. So we've got, as well as that kind of regular check-in, you will be assigned a mentor. And we have a wonderful mentor team, very supportive, very encouraging, very passionate about silver metal clay. And so you're assigned a mentor. You have that same mentor for the whole year, and you will have 6 sessions with them throughout the year. So you'll have midterm sessions, which are roughly in the middle of each term, where it's just a chat, really. You get together, you share how it's been going for you, any questions that you want to ask specifically that you haven't kind of got from the group. And yeah, they will prompt you as well about, to kind of get as much information as you need. Then, so you have one of those in the middle of each term, and you also have a marking one-to-one session with the same mentor, but that time they will have your work in front of them. This is at the end of the term or often the beginning of the next term. So they will have looked at your work, they will have kind of seen all the things that you've done really well, but also what you could do to improve if you were going to make it again. And they'll be able to talk you through that. And I think that's a really amazing part of the program, is that they're able to give that feedback with online learning, which isn't always the case. And then finally, there is a Facebook group. So this is kind of where you can go anytime, day or night, and post and share, post pictures, post little videos if there's anything you're stuck with while you're making a project. We have mentors and people in the group every day except Sunday. So 6 days a week, the group is manned. And of course, your peers are in there as well. So often if you have a question, for example, if you're making this ring and the stone fell out or something, you can say, oh, my stone's fallen out, what should I do? The mentors will be there to help. Other people who've been making the project the same week as you might have had the same issue and know how to fix it. So it's a really invaluable resource as well. And you can use as many or as few of these as you like. But like I said, people who kind of engage with it really get a lot out of the program. So it's a fully supported learning environment. It's not just an online course, it's much more involved than that. And we really kind of get to know you and you get to know each other. And I think that that is such an important part of kind of staying the course of the program too. So let's have a little look about the curriculum. So like I said, there's 3 terms and we start off with the basics and we kind of build up from there. So week 1, we learn how to work with the clay. So you'll be making silver metal clay charms with Julia Ray, who is an absolutely incredible metal clay teacher. She was one of my first teachers, gosh, nearly 20 years ago now. So she's been making for a long, long time. She's also one of the first people, or I think she was the first person in the world to achieve this metal clay qualification called the Master's Registry. I'll talk more about Julia in a little bit because she is incredible. So we're very lucky to have her teaching on the program, but she's teaching the basics. So you'll be making some silver charms, you'll learn how to work with the molding compound, but you'll also learn how to roll out the clay and how to add texture to it, because metal clay takes texture beautifully. So you'll start to learn how to work with the clay in ways that really lend itself to that material. And then we all have a bit of stone setting. So week 2 is the stone setting in metal clay course. This is taught by the wonderful Anna Campbell. Anna actually teaches a lot on this course, and I'll be talking more about her and her credentials in a little bit as well when I go on to the mentors. But yes, she teaches this class, and you actually learn 3 types of stone setting. So you'll learn how to do a cabochon stone, which is a stone with a flat back and a curved top. And that could be a natural stone that you set after firing. There are certain stones that you can set in the clay, but you torch fire the clay and they still work, they still remain, they're kind of heat proof stones. And then there are like natural stones, and a lot of the natural stones can't withstand the heat, so you need to create the setting, allow for the shrinkage of the metal clay, and set it afterwards. So you'll learn both of those techniques. You will also learn how to set cubic zirconias, which are the heat proof stones, which are the kind of little faceted stones, which you can see in some of the samples there. And you'll also learn how to work with glass and metal clay. So a really kind of nice project to get your teeth into. Then we move on to week 3, which is taught by me. I always love the gold. So this is the adding gold to metal clay week, and you learn 3 techniques here, but only 2 of them are marked. So only 2 of them are part of the diploma. And you'll find that across a few of the projects is we'll often give you more training than you actually need. So we might say, here's how to do 3 things, but we only want you to do 2 of them. And then you can always come back to the other one later. And the reason why we do it is usually because there's a tool or a material cost for the 3rd one, which we didn't want to have to make you guys pay for the diploma. So this is a really good example of that. So you'll be learning how to do K and Boo, how to work with gold nuggets, but you also will learn how to paint gold on. But to buy a pot of gold paint is quite expensive. So you don't have to do that, but it's like a kind of bonus part of the course if you want to come back to that later. So K and Boo is the process of applying like a thin sheet of gold, really high quality 24 karat gold on top of your metal clay. Works really well on fine silver. It's a really lovely thing to do. And you can see there the little pineapple and the little pendant, they're both K and Boo. So it's adding that layer on. And it's a quite affordable way to add gold to your silver jewelry because it's quite a thin layer, but yeah, it's quite robust. It stays a lot longer than a gold plate. So it's a really nice thing to kind of elevate your jewelry. And then you'll also learn how to work with gold, setting it into the clay. And like I said, the painting option is like something you can do, on the weekend if you fancy it or whenever in future. Then we move on to the silver leaf and botanical jewelry class with Anna Campbell again. So metal clay works really well with organic forms, because it's a clay, it really lends itself to these kinds of designs. So you will learn how to make a leaf where you paint with the clay onto a real life leaf. And the leaf burns away and you're left with the solid silver kind of replica of that leaf, which is a beautiful thing to do for like necklaces, earrings, whatever. But also you'll learn how to work with the molds again, to be able to create pieces like in the pictures you can see like twigs, acorns, using bark from a tree. So it's kind of starting to work with texture in a different way, and just very commercial pieces as well. Like botanical jewelry is, it's all the rage. We all love botanical jewelry. So flowers, leaves, anything to do with nature. If you are starting or growing a jewelry business, these are the kind of things that are going to be much easier for you to sell. Of course, you can sell anything, but these are sort of the kind of things that go really well. So it's great to be able to learn how to work with the clay in that way. Then week 5, we're kind of starting to get a bit more detailed and intricate with things now that you've kind of mastered working with the clay. So this is, you'll be creating a piece of your own design using embellishments. So I teach this course and essentially I go through all different ways to add embellishments. So on here you can see kind of vines, you can see little gemstone settings, little flowers, little leaves, different bales, it's like a dolphin, palm trees, shells. So there's lots of different techniques you can use to create these embellishments. And then once you've learned how to do them all, you can put them together and make up a really lovely piece. And you can see I've done a little bit of K and Boo on the dolphin one. I've also patterned the one in front, which has made it darker, which makes some of it pop out. So you'll learn how to do that as well. So it's kind of, you can see where it gets really creative. You start to put pieces together and enjoy playing with the clay. So week 6 and 7, you will be ring making in metal clay. So this again is taught with Anna Campbell, and she teaches 3 different types of rings. So you will learn how to make a stacking ring, which you can see in the picture, and you'll make a stack of rings. And she teaches you how to put different stone settings on them. You can see a little starfish on one of them, little love hearts, whatever design you like. And then you'll also learn how to make a D-shaped profile ring, which you can see to the side with a stone setting in it, and there's some carving in that one as well. So rings are a little bit trickier. They are a kind of more intermediate project because the clay does shrink. And so obviously with a ring, the sizing is important. So we need to make sure that we're working with the shrinkage. So you'll have plenty of practice over these couple of weeks with working with rings, exploring how you can make really beautiful rings in silver metal clay. And, you know, just again, a really lovely way to use the material to make something really beautiful. Week 8 is the polishing and finishing week. So this is a masterclass with me all about polishing and finishing, because what really elevates your work from kind of like a hobby level jeweler to a professional level jeweler is the finish. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with being a hobby and there's nothing wrong with being professional, but obviously we want to train you well. So learning how to use different tools, different materials, different ways of polishing and finishing your work. So the things I show you in this course, you might not do all of them, but I'm kind of just giving you a toolkit of different ways you can polish and finish your work to get to that really high standard so that you can sell your pieces, have a jewelry business if you choose, or make for friends and family, but you've got those skills to be able to finish it to a high standard. Then things get a little bit more advanced because it's coming towards the end of the term. So this is a more intricate stone setting course. We called it the catchy title of Fancy Bezels, Prongs and Bales in Metal Clay, which was fun to come up with, again with Julia Ray. So she teaches 2 different types of stone setting here. So one of them you can see on the right-hand side is it's a partial bezel setting. So you've already done a bezel setting. So this is kind of playing around with different shapes of bezel setting, partial ones where you're missing some of the setting. She also teaches some more intricate bales and some other kind of decorative elements that you might not have seen before. And then on the right hand side, you can see the prong setting. So she will show you how to make claws and prongs in the clay and set stones that are fired in place in that way. So again, we're just kind of gradually moving you on, developing your skills. And I think what's really lovely is obviously you learn how to make these projects in the course, but what we're really teaching you are the skills to make your own pieces, where you've got this vast array of different techniques at your fingertips that you can sort of say, I want to do this design. I can use all these different things to create it. Then at the end of each term, we have workshop weeks. So you have 2 workshop weeks this term. So this is time for you to kind of catch up, polish up any pieces, do any finishing before you send your work to us for marking. We give you detailed instructions on how to send your work to us for marking, but wherever you are in the world, you send it on the same day. So it's fair for everyone. And we know that international students, it arrives later, and that's absolutely fine. It comes to our warehouse in London. We send it out to your individual mentor, and then you arrange, we kind of arrange with you for the Zoom marking session a few weeks later. So you always have a bit of time at the end to, you know, catch up in case anything happened, or for some of us it's like half term, you know, life happens. So it's not too pressured. Then we come on to term 2. So we start with the fingerprint and personalized jewelry week. So this is a type of jewelry business that you can actually run, and it's very popular. Kind of anything personalized, fingerprints tends to be you know, what people really love about jewelry. So you'll learn how to create fingerprint jewelry, and fingerprint jewelry is used a lot for parents or grandparents, but it can be used for anyone. And I actually used to run a fingerprint jewelry business, and so I would take the little fingerprints of the children and using a molding compound, and then I do a few techniques to essentially make sure that they were well imprinted into the clay. You do a bit of engraving. You can use letter stamps, and you can use some other tools to do hand engraving. You might set a birthstone in there. So I teach this class, and I teach you kind of the processes that I did to run that business. So if you're thinking of setting it up as a business, then there's lots of kind of tips and advice in there about that. But also it's just a lovely thing to be able to do for like friends and family. When my son was at nursery, I did it for all the kids at nursery as like a special treat. So it's just a bit of fun for some people, and for other people it may become their main income stream. And it was a very successful business because it's the kind of thing that people just, you know, love to have, memorabilia, keepsake jewelry. But we'll also do personalized jewelry, which is, yeah, kind of like name tags, all of those kind of things, because there is a lot yeah, there's just a lot you can do with the clay. So we want to show you as many different possibilities. So that is where we start with week one. That's what that's what they've been doing recently, because we are in term 2 now for the current cohort of students. Week 2 is the paper metal clay week, again taught by the lovely Anna. So this is a really amazing material, but metal clay usually comes in clay form. It also comes in paste form. It also comes in syringe form, and it also comes in paper form, which is like sheets of paper that you can cut with scissors and work with in different ways. So Anna Campbell teaches 3 different projects. There is a weaving one, which you can see some of the pictures of here. There's also a really cool kind of, I can't remember what they're called, but they're those things that spin round in the wind. Not a windmill, but maybe Anna will remember and put it in the chat. But it's kind of origami. So you're essentially able to fold and mold the clay in a paper form. So you can make things that are just really intricate and would be very difficult to make any other way. Pinwheel. I think it's a pinwheel. I don't even know what they're called. You have them like when you're a kid and they yes, pinwheel. There we go. Thank you, Adrian. So you'll make some of those. And there's also some quilling. So quilling is actually a technique taken from working with paper crafts, and it's a technique of kind of creating little coils, and there's so much you can do with that as well. So we're really kind of introducing you to all these different areas, which you can then choose to take further, or just adds to your toolkit. Week 3 is the beads and hollow forms week. So we're now starting to get more 3D with our designs. So you'll learn how to make a range of different beads. You can see some examples here. These round ones pictured are called lentil beads. So you kind of make the 2 sides and join them together. There's also cushion beads, pillow beads, and then there's these kind of almost like Pandora style tube beads where you can put stones on, or you can do lots of different textures. You can kind of roll out a leaf and turn that into a bead. So you can be really creative with this and make some really beautiful pieces. Then we have the shaped stone setting in metal clay. So again, I teach this course. I love the bling, love the gemstones. So what we teach in this class is how to make different shaped stone settings. So you've obviously got the round ones, which are in there, but also we look at pear shape, and I kind of talk you through how you could work with any shaped stone. And then we put it all together, and you can, add decorative elements to it as well. So these stones are fired in place. So they are heat-proof stones. But what we're doing is kind of building on your skills for individual stone setting, working with some bigger stones, how we work and put them together, and how we could create a kind of like cocktail ring type piece. So it's a lot of and yeah, just quite impressive as well, I think, when you see all the pieces come together. Week 5 is the soldering and metal clay class. So any of you who do traditional silver work may want to combine that with your silver metal clay. And those of you that don't, there are still some really good uses for soldering. So for example, here you can see on the left, there is the Highland cow cufflinks. So the Highland cow is made in metal clay, and the cufflink element is traditional, like sterling silver, and you can solder the 2 together. And the same for butterfly backs. There are quite a few ways that you can combine the 2, but soldering in metal clay is a little bit different to soldering, with sterling silver to sterling silver. Not hugely different, but there's a little bit of difference. So, and for those of you that have never done any soldering before, you will get to learn how to do it. You will get some practice. You don't need to be a master at it, but it's definitely a great skill to learn if you are working in silver. And again, opens up things like cufflinks and stud earrings and these kind of things, which sometimes brooch backs. There's all sorts of things you can solder onto your metal clay. Actually, the week before I soldered on a ring, so that's an optional thing that you can do as well, is create the front in metal clay, and sometimes it's easier to make the ring in traditional methods. Then we move on to week 6 and 7, which is the box ring, again with Anna Campbell. So again, we're getting more 3D now. So these are actually hollow rings, and you can see you can do all different kind of shapes and decorative elements. So Anna will show you how to create the different sides, the different parts of it, how to dry them, how to put them together. Again, we've got sizing to think about, and you can start getting creative with your own designs as well. So this is a more advanced ring making project, and includes a lot of different techniques and skill bases. So we're starting to kind of build on those as well. Week 8 and 9 is the bespoke textures weeks with Julia Ray. So this is where you're going to be really exploring different textures you can make. Like I mentioned before, silver metal clay is really lends itself to textured jewelry because it's a clay. So you can literally push anything into it and it will take it up and it will stay there. But we don't always want to use pre-bought texture sheets because we end up having pieces that look the same as everybody else's. So learning to make your own unique textures that nobody else has is really going to create some unique jewelry. So Julia teaches a whole bunch of different ways to make textures. And I think there's like 7 or 8 of them at least. So you can explore kind of different ways to be creative, make your different textures, and you'll be creating a piece of your own design using a bunch of these textures. So it's a really nice kind of thing to have a point of difference, I suppose, and start to find your own style within this materials. We want you to learn the techniques by following what we're doing, but then start to branch out and really add your own creativity to it as well. Week 10 is the photography week. So you'll be learning all about photography and how to photograph your jewelry. If you're making and selling jewelry, a really essential part of that is having great photographs. So this week isn't marked at all. We don't ask you to submit anything, but you have a course on photography. And of course, we'll be talking about it that week and answering any questions. So it's a great chance to kind of take some pictures of what you've made so far, get some practice in, and develop your photography so that you can build a business. Then you have your workshop weeks at the end to kind of finish off any pieces and get them ready for marking before term 3 starts. So term 3 is a little bit different. We have 4 masterclasses, all taught by world-renowned metal clay artists who we are very lucky to have access to. So the first of those is the wonderful Joy Funnel. So Joy is a senior art clay instructor, and she's also a craftsman of the Guild of Enamelers. So that gives you a bit of a clue about what her masterclass is going to involve. She is a brilliant enameler. She also, as you can tell perhaps from her clothing, loves color. And so all of Joy's pieces are full of color. So her masterclass is involving enameling on the metal clay, lots of color. She's got years of experience in metal clay, and she specializes in this adding color to metal clay through stones, enameling, so on and so forth. She's also super lovely, wonderful teacher. So this is her masterclass. We've called it Enameling in Metal Clay with Joy Funnel, and you can see some of the samples there. So she's going to be teaching you how to create a pendant. And there's lots of techniques kind of included in this pendant that we haven't done so far. So she's using some wire to create a type of enameling called cloisonné, which is where you use the wire to create the shapes and then you fill it in with the enamels. So you'll learn how to work with enamels, you'll learn how to work with the kiln and enameling, you'll learn how to create these designs. You'll also be making kind of a multi-layered pendant so you can build it up. In the course, she actually teaches this owl one, which you can see, but you can use it to create the owl, or you can create your own design. But some bits are really quite 3D, where she's got like the log, which really pops out. Then she's got the cloisonné wires, and she's got textures around the edge, which she makes using scratch foam. So, and on the back, she also does quite a lot of detail with stone setting on the back of her piece. So she really shows you and talks you through the whole process of how you'd make one of these pieces. And then you go make it, or as many as you like, but you only need to make one for marking. So, and you can see there's a few different designs she's got in there, little birds, there's a butterfly one at the back, there's some more abstract ones. So with these techniques, there's lots that you can do. The next masterclass is taught by the wonderful Enameling. So Anna is an award-winning metal clay artist with over 15 years worth of experience, and she makes these beautiful, intricate, sculptural kind of pieces of work. Her photos are often published on covers of trade magazines. She's been teaching metal clay workshops and classes since 2013, and she's just pretty much a metal clay badass, I would say. So her masterclass has not been photographed yet, so I don't have the pictures to show you of exactly what you'll be making, but this is some of her work. And as soon as they are photographed, we will get them out to everyone to have a look at. But this gives you an idea of the kind of things that she creates. So she does lots of stone setting, but she also does lots of very intricate kind of vines and embellishments and a lot of sculptural stuff as well. So she is she's filming that with us in 2 weeks time, and then we'll have the samples ready to photograph. So very excited. And she's coming over from, oh my goodness, I can't remember what country. Another country. Anna will know. Poland. There we go. She's coming over from Poland, especially for us. But really just shows what you can do with this material and where you can take it. And she's a very inspirational artist. Then we have the wonderful Julia Ray. So Julia is another award-winning jeweler. She's one of the most experienced and qualified metal clay teachers in the UK, in the world as well, I think. And she achieved the Metal Clay Masters Registry credential at level 6, first in the world. There's basically the Masters Registry, which is something was created, was for really high level kind of metal clay artists, and she went all the way through, which was really impressive. It's like a master's in silver metal clay. She's also the vice president of the Alliance for Metal Clay Arts Worldwide, also called AMCOR, and she runs the Metal Clay Academy, which is a website which is like a free resource on all things metal clay. So she's like the metal clay queen. So it's great to have her. So this is her masterclass. It's called Lidded Vessels. So you will learn how to make a screw top necklace. And there's a few examples of what you can do with this technique here, but all of them have this screw mechanism. So it's really cool. It's like, I think of it as like potion bottles that they used to have. And I remember my mum used to have one of these as a necklace. So you can kind of like unscrew it, put things inside it and screw it back up. And there's lots of different shapes. So there's kind of one that's shaped almost like a pencil, and there's a lentil one, and there's a kind of like a kind of rectangular one, and create different lids. But she's showing you how to make it, how to make the screw top mechanism. It's something really different and interesting that you can do with the clay, and yeah, just very creative, I think. Then the fourth and final masterclass is with Tracy Spurgeon. Tracy is another incredible metal clay artist and tutor. She is a qualified senior art clay and PMC instructor with more than 20 years of teaching experience. She runs her own jewelry school, and you may have seen her on Jewelry Maker TV, where she does lots of projects, and she has completed courses with Art Clay World UK, PMC Connections, and Rio Rewards in America. So again, Tracy's, I actually have hers here. You're not going to be able to see it very well on the screen, but I will hold it up. These are some of her pieces. So this isn't what you're going to be making, but her project is amazing. We filmed it fairly recently, and it is a poison ring. So it never really works when I try and show it, but I will try. So it is a ring, and I might show you this at the end as well. It opens up, it has a catch. So it's almost like a locket in a ring. So there's a bit that goes inside. And she kind of teaches you how to make the attachment, like all the elements, the ring. It's very structural. There's a beautiful stone setting on the front there, which you may be able to see. Like I said, I'll show it again at the end because it might be a nice close-up. But it's a really lovely project to kind of finish off your diploma with. So again, just an amazing thing to be able to make. And there's hinges in there. There's some really small hinges. There's lots of different mechanisms. There's the stone setting. There's a lot of stuff. You'll be challenged, but it will be fun. Then as we come to the end of term 3, you'll be working on your final project, which is a design of your own choice. And we'll give you a brief for that. So you'll have that from when the course starts. So you'll have plenty of time to think about it, kind of get ready. And you can work with your mentors as well on choosing what to do, and they will help guide you through it. And then finally, at the end, we have a kind of webinar together, a Q&A about running a business in silver metal clay. So I'll be able to answer any questions you have, because as you come to the end of the diploma, we really want to make sure those of you that are building a business feel supported, know where to go next, and can have some specific advice around building it in silver metal clay, because it is a little bit different to, doing it with other materials. So that will be fun. And this piece, actually, just fun fact, I made this at one of Enameling's classes. So that was, again, it's kind of like got her style in it a little bit. So yeah, lots of fun things that you can do with the silver metal clay. Then you have lots of workshop weeks at the end. So you've got lots of time to do your final project, finish up your pieces, get your work off to us to be marked. And that is the end of kind of the curriculum. We also include a bonus course, which is just for fun. So this is the stone set hinged cuff with Tracy Spurgeon. We're not assessing this course. The only reason why is because you kind of need a bangle mandrel for it. And we didn't want to make everyone get a bangle mandrel, because again, it would add quite a lot of cost to the kit just for the one project. But if you want to get a bangle mandrel and you want to do it, you can do it in your own time. So it's just nice to have kind of lifetime access to all of those programs as well. Alrighty, so they're the projects. So I have talked a little bit about the masterclass teachers, but I also want to share a bit about Anna Campbell, because she teaches a lot on the course. So Anna is a qualified art clay and PMC instructor, and she has completed classes with Art Clay World UK, PMC Connections, and Reawards in America. She's also a PGCE certified teacher, and she's been on Create and Craft TV, which is another kind of TV channel showcasing silver metal clay. And she's the founder of the Jewellery School Scotland and teaches workshops in Edinburgh. So we really do have an incredible teaching team to help and support you through it. Then, of course, there's me. And I think I already introduced myself, but you can find out lots more about me online if you're not sure. And like I said, there's me, Anna, Julia, Tracy, Anna Maison, and Joy Funnel. And we do also have a couple more mentors as well who will introduce you to when you are on the program. So the question I tend to ask people when they're thinking about sign up for any of these diploma courses is just thinking about, what are your goals? Where do you want to be in a year's time? What do you want your making skills to look like? If you're thinking of starting or growing a business, what direction do you want to take it in? Because, I absolutely love these courses, and I'm very passionate about the silver metal clay one. I think it just, it's just incredible to have that much training in one place for this material. And there's so much that you can do with it. There's kind of like a lifetime's worth of exploration that you can go down. But it's just thinking, do you want to develop those making skills? Would you like to think about growing those businesses? And if so, this is definitely going to be able to help you with that. And I find that people are often amazed what they can achieve in just a year. So the course fees for the full diploma are £2,978, and that gives you lifetime access to all of the content plus all of the support that you have throughout the year you are with us. We have an 18-month payment plan, which makes it a lot more affordable at £167 per month. And I know that quite a few of our students have set themselves the challenge to sell that much jewellery each month to actually pay for the diploma as they go, which works quite well too. So that is for the course. And then we have some tool and material kits. So you can buy these also as part of a payment plan, so you can spread the cost, or you can buy them in one go. Our tool and material kits are created by Metal Clay Limited, which is the main kind of recommended supplier in the UK of silver metal clay and tools. And they're also a lovely kind of small company that we just love partnering with. But you buy them from us and they will ship them to you. So the toolkit, we've tried to keep it all as affordable as possible, is £527. And then the material kit, which we do recommend everyone get because there's very specific types of clay and stones and so on and so forth, is just over £1,000, 1,097, and that includes all of your silver to make all of those projects, and often there's a little bit extra as well. But like I said, you can spread the cost of these over the 18 months. So if you go and look on the website, Anna will post a link to where you can sign up for the course. It will kind of guide you through the different options, payment options that you can go through. But we do recommend getting the tool and material kit orders in early because we don't want metal clay to run out of stock before you start. So the sooner we can let them know what the order is, the better, because there's a lot of things that go into that toolkit. It's everything you need to make all of those projects for the whole year. The only thing it doesn't include is the kiln. And actually there's a little list of a few other things it doesn't include. They're the kind of things that you might have at home, or you can easily access, like a glass dish and things like that. So we do have a list of those extras that we ask you to get, as well as the toolkit, but they're not jewelry tools. They're kind of like random things that you might need. So yes, you do need to either have a kiln or have access to a kiln. So if you've been looking for permission to buy one, this is going to be a good time. You can get any kind of kiln that works, but a lot of us have the Paragon kiln, which you can see pictured here. Again, metal clay is going to be a great place to buy your kiln from. We're not like affiliated with them in any way, by the way. They're just a great supplier. But the great thing about them is they've got lots of options on their website, but also if you're just not sure, you can just give them a call and they'll talk you through it. We also have done a podcast actually with Petra from Silver Metal Clay, where she talks through the different kilns and what they're good for. So you can have a little look at that. But yes, there's a few different kinds that you can get. But if you're investing this much in your metal clay training, you're going to want a kiln anyway. It's just, you can fire things so much quicker in terms of torch firing is quicker in time, but if you've made like 20 or 30 pieces, you can put them all in and batch create. And also for rings and more kind of items that need to be more robust, we'd always recommend having a kiln. Yes, we will pop a link to the podcast. Sorry, Anna, I'm making Anna get all the links at the moment, but yes, we'll pop that in the chat shortly. We also have limited spaces available on this course because we have a limited number of tutors. So again, we just encourage you to kind of make a decision as soon as you can. And the 18-month payment plans do have a deadline. Maybe Anna can pop that in the chat. I believe it is the 9th of February, but I want to make sure I get that right. And yeah, we always ask people, if yes, Friday the 9th of Feb, I got it right. So many dates to remember, but that's an important one. So the deadline to sign up with the payment plan is the 9th of Feb. After that, there will be other options, but it is often better for people to get in earlier. So a question we often ask people who are like worried about the money is, how many pieces of jewelry do you need to sell to cover the course fee? Because this is what a lot of people do. And I know it can feel a little bit scary to, put your money to something that you perhaps don't have all the money for yet. But honestly, we found that people that do this, they just find a way. They find a way to make it. And I think it's one of those things, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way to make it happen. And I know for me, when I first started making silver and metal clay jewelry, I just had the bug. I was like, I just want to learn all this stuff. And I put everything I had into it. And it was a risk because I didn't know where it was going to go. But I think when you commit to something and you decide that, it's going to be your thing, then there's always a way. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and enroll on the link now. But if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. We always love hearing from you guys. And yeah, I can answer any questions if there are any. But thank you for being here. Thank you for coming along to the open day and, hearing more about it. And hopefully you're as excited as I am to get stuck in and learn more about silver metal clay. So Anna has been very effective and has answered all your questions, which is brilliant. But yeah, like I said, if you have any other questions that come up and you want to ask us, feel free to get in touch. We're on Instagram, Facebook, or you can drop us an email, contact@jewellersacademy.com. And I look forward to making with some of you guys this year. And yeah, seeing what you do with it and seeing where you go. And there is a current cohort of diploma students at the moment. So it's been so lovely to see how they've taken on all these different projects as well. It's such a supportive community. I think that's one thing that's really important to get across is you will be really encouraged and supported here. There's no such thing as a silly question. And whatever level you're at, we kind of just want to push you to the next level and encourage you to move forward. Anna's also put a link to the discovery call. If you feel like after today you'd like to have a chat with someone individually, like you've got a personal circumstance you want to talk through, or you just want to talk through things before you commit, then do feel free to click on that link in the chat and you can book a time that suits you. It's just a Zoom call. It's no pressure. We never want to pressure anyone into joining a course that's not right for them, especially a year-long program, because they're going to be spending a lot of time together. So we want to make sure that you're happy. But yeah, I think you're going to be pretty happy making these pieces. They are a lot of fun. Wonderful. All righty. Well, thank you guys so much.